So AI, it's an enabling tool. That's how I see it. In our space as filmmakers, you're already using it to help us structure our scripts, to shorten some processes like production design, editing, cleaning sound, 5.1 stereo and stuff like that. It's an enabling tool, and the quicker we embrace it, it will ease in our work processes, and money that should have been used on something, is now diverted to more meaningful. So AI is here to stay. It's the future. It's the present. I'm sure those ones who interact with Gen Alpha already realize that our education system, the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, you can see Gen Alpha already AI oriented. It's nothing to fear about. Embrace the future. Change is the only constant thing. Yeah.
My name is Toyosi Akerele Ogushiji, and I'm the creator, co-writer, producer, and executive producer of Makemation. And Makemation is the first film on technology innovation and artificial intelligence out of Africa.
So now, let's say, being a great mind behind Makemation, what are some of the challenges that you passed through, that you encountered?
First, the scripting. To be able to balance trying to pass on a very powerful message without coming across as preaching to the people in very simple, subtle, relatable language. One of the very exciting things for me today, showing Makemation at the Kenyan Innovation Week 2024, is that when we started to write the script for this film, our plan was just to make a big film on tech out of Nigeria to democratize the knowledge of technology and AI to young people in Nigeria. But seeing the reactions of Kenyans today to this film, the emotions, the laughter, constant laughter, the expression of, sadness when Zara went through challenges, it's very rewarding that all of the work that the director, myself, and all of our cast and crew put into this work was worth it after all. We faced a lot of challenges. First off, locations. And I want to say that this is a good opportunity for the African filmmakers to not just dream big on script, but also make sure that when you write your scripts, those locations actually do exist in real life to match, the scope and the scale of what you've written on your script. We couldn't find a lot of the locations that you saw in the film were built from scratch. For example, the Zara family house was made out of wood. We had to burn the wood, color it out. Shout out to our art directors who worked on that. We shot at some of the never before seen, some of the best locations out of Africa, including the Microsoft Africa Development Center, the PwC headquarters in Nigeria, one of the biggest girls' secondary school in Nigeria, because it's a story that also ties very strongly to girls in STEM. We also wanted to ensure that people because we know that people don't watch film. They don't go to cinemas to watch film to learn. They go to get entertainment. So there has to be a pull effect, a pull factor for our audience to be able to love the film. It's when they love it, come into the cinemas, that they can see the message they're trying to pass. And so we try to make sure, as much as it carries the very didactic elements, it also carries the element of humor. It carries the element of, it's very engaging. I had to leave the room to stand at the back, and I could see how invested, the audiences were in watching the film. Kenya is definitely one of the biggest, film markets in Africa after Nollywood. I mean, I have to give shout out to Nigeria, but the third largest film industry in the world. I'm very, very proud that this film was not, people didn't come from outside Africa to make our first film on technology. This film was made by Africans, for Africans, made by young people in their 20s, some of them not even 20 yet. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to collaborate with a lot of young people, benefit from their talents, their intellect. And I'm happy that I also had the depth of thought to give them ownership, listen to their ideas, embrace their thoughts. And we were very disruptive in making this film. I didn't quite mind. I always said that wherever people say that you don't go there, that's exactly where you should go. Whatever people say don't do, that's exactly what we're going to do. However people say they don't do it, is how exactly we're going to do it. And when people say this is how we've been doing it, that is exactly why we're not going to do it that way. So when I've listened to very great filmmakers in Kenya today say wonderful things about the film, more than making us feel validated as a team from Nigeria, I think he also humbles us this is a time to be very humble and to see the potential opportunity to collaborate with some of the brightest and the best filmmakers here in Kenya, because it's time for Africa to begin to tell our stories from our own prism, from our own perspective. We need to begin to think about local solutions to our local problems. Because I'm a lawyer, and they always say, "Nemo dat quod non habet." You can't give what you don't have. The young people who worked on this film sacrificed a lot. We shot in locations where mosquitoes beat people, people took ill, the slums smelt, but we are happy that these communities embraced us. It shows that there's a fabric of humanity that ties us together as a people. And we want to be able to use a lot of the revenue generated from this film to go back and empower and uplift the communities where we shot that film. Some of those communities were not even accessible. We had to sand fill some of the roads to be able to access those places. But I always insist that we told the story in this film with absolute respect for our audience. We didn't shoot this film believing that our audience are stupid people, they'll figure it out. We shot it with respect for our audience, knowing that Africans are intelligent people. And we want the world to see Africa from the perspective of the fact that if you give us the kind of resources that some other climes in the world had, Africa will make magic. And this is just the beginning of a very sustainable collaboration between Nigeria and Kenya, and perhaps even Rwanda, South Africa, and Kenya and Ghana, because the Makemation series we're going to go into principal photography very soon, and we're looking to shoot in some of the best locations around the continent. I mean, Kenya has some of the best wildlife, tourist locations on the continent, and we want the world to see the best of our continent, in not just in our poverty. Africa is not synonymous with poverty. Africa is synonymous with possibilities. We are synonymous with the potential that even in the midst of no resources, we're making a difference. And even though I'm not a filmmaker, I work in the technology space. This is an opportunity that, I've come to respect actors. People having to memorize scripts of long, very long scripts within a matter of minutes. Directors having to stay under the sun to be able to, some actors needed to take 11 takes for us to be able to achieve the perfection we wanted. The art direction, the production design, the costuming. People said that it was very real and relatable, and we're very happy, to be here. And as Ambassador Phil Tigo announced today, we will be back in Kenya in March 2025 for a proper premiere for this film. And we welcome Kenya into the fold of Makemation. It's going to be a long journey together, and it's been an honor meeting a lot of my brothers here in Kenya, and I really do value, the feedback, the media. Thank you very much for being here all day with us. We know you could have been covering other events, doing other things. We're very grateful to the gentlemen and women of the press, the tech ecosystem, the policymakers, the government, Mr. Tony Mwansa of the Kenya, Innovation Agency. This is a beautiful country. I'm looking to go into Mombasa in the next few days. I'm looking forward to ugali and chapati, and I definitely will be back. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you mentioned about young people. So what prompted you to work with young people? What is the beauty that you see, coming together with young people? Because so many people criticize young people. So what is the beauty that pulled you to young people?
I started my career very young. I set up my first company as a student. I've always believed in young people. I spent the significant early years of my career working in core youth development. In fact, I was known to organize some of the biggest programs, youth programs, across the length and breadth of Nigeria. So I understand the nuances, the aspirations, and the talent of young people. I'm still very young, but I also don't want to take the shine off the forthcoming successor generation of our country and our continent. I've seen what young people can do in Nigeria and Africa, and we can all see it. Older people can live in denial about what young people can do. But the truth is that the talent and the skills and the capacity and the competence and the character and the grit and the determination of African young people is what will transform this continent. And it was a no-brainer for me. People believed in me is the reason why I was able to make this film. I'm very, very proud of my director, Michael Amasal, Mr. Akinrugunde. He's 29, and he directed this film.
29?
He's 29. and he directed this film. The VFX artists, one of them is about 19, the other is about 20 something. Tega, our production manager, is 24. All of the people that worked on this film are very young people. So Makemation is standing on the shoulders of giants, specifically the young people of Africa. And look at all of you, the young people making the content for Makemation here in Kenya, all young people. So the older people, the establishment, can live in denial of what young people can do, but there's really nothing that we can do about an idea whose time has come.
So, Makemation.
Yeah.
Describe Makemation in 3 words.
Makemation in 3 words. Extremely educating. You are going to learn a lot. It will leave you better than you met it. You would go away feeling, what have I been doing with my life? And I've heard people say that today, so my job's done. The second thing is, it's very exciting. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat because you're not sure what's going to happen next. And I like the cliffhanger of people looking today like, what's next? And I said it was finished. And then the third one is, it's going to be the game changer. I like to describe it as 100% African, 1000% game changer. This is the definitive film that will show the world the stuff that Africa is made of. And it's not because we, the crew, feel like we're better than anybody. I respect the talent of great filmmakers in Africa: Funke Akindele, Messi Aigbe, Tony Abraham, Ruben Udanga, Daudi Anguika. A lot of them doing really great work around the continent. Wumi Toriola, who's just come to top 7 in Nigerian box office. But we know that what we've done with this film is to be able to bring together entertainment and education in a very unusual way. So you don't feel like you're learning, but you are. And then you're going to laugh the whole time, but you're going to go home feeling like, I need to do something with my life. That's the plan.
Last question. When you talk about technology, innovation, and AI, how is Makemation embracing that and at the same time showcasing that?
Technology, innovation, and AI. First, the sophistication of the cinematography of Makemation shines through. It's clear. The production design shines through. But I need us filmmakers to understand that there is a very strong intersection between the creative economy and the digital economies. And that's why the panel session focused on the ethics of AI and the implication of repositioning Africa with filmmaking. We did a lot of research on this film. This is a very data-driven production. A lot of our decisions were very data, driven, very based on a lot of empirical information. We didn't guess anything. We wanted to also be very mindful of data privacy, wanted to be very mindful of product design. We also did a lot of research, like most of the projects that you saw the students building. We wrote the concept note at Rise Networks and built those projects from scratch. None of them existed before. We built them and we named them. What we want to do with this film is to democratize the knowledge of technology, the technologies of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, specifically AI. And we believe that film is very powerful because this is a major familiar channel of interaction. I like what Ruben said on the panel about in the next 3 years, we're likely to see more young people and girls especially get into tech after watching this film because they're going to start to believe in themselves. Brian, one of our panelists, just said to me, anything you want me to do for Makemation in Kenya, I'm going to do it because Zara's story and my story are exactly the same. The difference is that I had no father. So this story reflects the reality of a lot of young people. They want to do tech, no laptops. They want to do tech, nobody believes in them. They want to do tech, there's no electricity, right? The resources, the scarcity of resources, the paucity of funds, access to labs, hubs where you can do practical innovation, not theoretical. Not we are talking about tech. We're actually making the tech. I believe that Makemation will facilitate very quickly, a conversation around, authentic manufacturing from Africa. We cannot remain consumers of technology. We have to be producers of technology. And if you look at everything that is here, from the cameras to the microphones, to even the mic stands, the mic flags, everything, none of it is made in Africa. Everything is imported into Africa. And Africa would not be able to fulfill its potential in terms of economic development if we don't begin to become a more productive economy where the world also depends on us for products and services. And what Makemation would do is to kickstart that conversation so that policymakers can see the importance of investing in digital economy and governance of the continent. And that's why I'm looking forward to the meeting of the ministers in March, which Ambassador Phil Tigo announced that, Makemation would exclusively screen there. I want to thank all of you because the media is very powerful in this conversation and the media doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. So we also want to make sure that, we do all that we can to put Africa on the global map. Thank you very much.